If you went to YouTube and typed, "Why is Bioshock good?" I'm sure you'd get tons of videos. I've played this game a lot, and for me, it's the environment. A once great city dying a slow death beneath the waves. I think that's why the level Arcadia stands out so much. It's sprouting with life in a place that's rotting away. I'm no sort of botanist. I'm a speedrunner, and I've been playing this game for 10 years. Today, we're going to talk about Arcadia and the history of Bioshock Speedrun. Let's start by quickly breaking down the level. For the any % speedrun, we can divide Arcadia into 3 main areas. First is the Tea Garden. This will include the tunnel intro and the Tea Garden itself. You enter on the right side, pass over the bridge in the middle, and exit through the left. Next is the Arcadia Glens. I had to Google what a glen is. On this level, it's basically a big hallway. The main feature of this section is the canal stretching from end to end. There's a few side rooms and points of interest, but to pass through here, you only need to walk a bit. And finally, the rolling hills. This area has 2 large rooms that feature hills going down. I'll also include the exit of the level here. Past this tree in the center of the room, there's a physical trigger. If you touch the trigger, the door to leave the level closes. In addition, there's also a look trigger at the back of the room. If you look at it, the door closes. After the door is closed, you're intended to search the level and travel to Farmer's Market to complete the quest. Arcadia is one of my favorite levels. It's also a good way for speedrunners to touch grass. Bioshock was released in 2007. Back then, speedruns didn't exist in the same form as they do today. Speedrun.com didn't exist. People would share strat ideas on forums, and full game speedruns of Bioshock weren't really a thing. The exact timeline of the first few years is a bit murky. If you explore these old forums, lots of links don't work anymore, and some old videos aren't viewable today. The first route on Arcadia would have been a fast casual playthrough, walking through the map and killing enemies along the way. When you get to the rolling hills, you intentionally hit the trigger, then do the objective as intended. Aldrich completed the level like this in 2007, just months after the game was released. Done like this, it took over 14 minutes, which makes sense. Like Atlas says,
Arcadia is a big place, but mostly rural.
Ignore that second part. 2008 would see the introduction of the first skips on Arcadia. If you've seen a Bioshock speedrun before, or were paying close attention earlier, you may have noticed a vulnerability in the level. In the rolling hills, you hit the trigger and the door to leave closes. But what if there was a way over this trigger? We could leave right away, skipping the majority of the level. Well, that's exactly what Exploding Cabbage tried to do. He gathered manure bags from this side room, and stacked them next to the tree. The stack eventually got high enough to jump into the tree. He grabbed a trash can for even more height. From this high up, it's possible to jump over the trigger. Arcadia had its first skip. He still couldn't look up at the back of the room because of the visual trigger, but he made it through the door. There's no footage of the entire level being done, but we can estimate the time. This strat drops the level from 14 minutes to just 4. We wouldn't need to wait long to get another new strat. That's because later in 2008, Cortez would do a variation of the manure stack and save a bit more time. He started by stacking manure bags, but then he placed a destroyed security camera on top. He was going to do what's known today as an item boost. If you place a smallish item near a wall, then jump into it, it gives you a burst of speed. Cortez would do this in Arcadia with the destroyed security camera. Due to the geometry of the camera and tree, he gets a big boost up as well. Cortez would also take pictures of splicers as he walked through the tea garden. This unlocks the Sports Boost 1 tonic, which gives permanent movement speed. This version of the skip would drop Arcadia's life points by another 30 seconds. Progress on the level would slow for the next few years. The old runners like Cabbage and Cortez moved on, but Cabbage left a parting gift before he went. At some point in this slow period, he found a better way to get into the tree. He did it with a single large square piece of wood, also known as a pallet. The first video of this single large square piece of wood would come from a new runner. Maybe you've heard of him, Blood Thunder. In 2013, BT was the first to start doing full game runs of Bioshock, and when he got to Arcadia, he unveiled the present Cabbage had left. BT grabbed the pallet in the Arcadia Glens. He took it through the rolling hills, being careful not to let the splicer or rocket turret destroy it. Then he leaned it against a tree, in the same spot as the manure bags. With the help of a manure bag, he got onto the pallet and then the tree. Using the manure bag again to get more height, he jumped over the trigger and could leave the level. This pallet strat was a huge boon to the run, but it wasn't the only new strat in 2013. To start the level, you need to wait for this slow door to open. You can walk forward to trigger a radio message, then turn around and activate the door to the previous level. This instantly opens the door to enter Arcadia, skipping its slow animation, and triggering the radio message prevents us from getting warped out. With these two strats, the level would drop by a full minute to 2 minutes 30 seconds, and this version of the level was significantly more consistent than the previous ones. The level would go unchanged for another 2 years, but in early 2015, Sir Sanju realized you can do the skip only using the pallet. Both jumps are possible without the manure bag. With the pallet only strat and 2 additional years of experience, Arcadia would be completed in 2 minutes and 5 seconds by Glurmo. The level was now getting close to what would probably be the last minute barrier, and we wouldn't have to wait long, because a new trick was about to revolutionize the Bioshock speedrun. Later in 2015, a new trick was found. It looks like a really big jump. It's called a fling. To do a fling, you need to stand on an item, then jump and use the telekinesis plasmid to bring the item to you. The item collides with the player and gives you a large one-time boost up. Flings would go on to change the route on 8 levels in Bioshock, and it can be used to great effect on Arcadia. We start like before, taking pictures and getting Sports Boost 1. We grab a box in the tea garden and walk to the final room. Along the way, we take pictures to get Sports Boost 2, achieving the max walking speed. In the rolling hills, we place the box down past the tree. To fling, you need flat ground, and the rolling hills are a bit less hilly in this spot. From here, we can jump right over the trigger, bypassing the tree entirely. This change removed the pallet from the route, an iconic part of the run, gone overnight. But it allowed us to smash past the 2-minute barrier, achieving a 1:57. And that time dropped even further with some optimizations. We moved the fling spot to the other side of the room, a bit closer to the entrance. We also stopped getting Sports Boost 2. It increases your movement speed, but it's slow to get. The whole thing's a big math problem. With these two changes, the level dropped to 1 minute and 27 seconds, again done by Glurmo. In 2016 would come and go without any changes to the level, but in 2017, the newest kid on the block would find a crazy new skip. The next major change was found by me, KPC. In the tea garden, we normally go through the rightmost door, passing through the right side and going over the bridge. But there are two other doors on the left. They take you into the middle section with the bridge, but there's no way up. Well, there was no way up. Now with flings, we can fling directly up to the bridge, skipping the right side entirely. We take a box from the start and go to the first door on the left. Then we can fling up from the open area to the bridge. You finish the level the same way, getting Sports Boost 1 and doing the fling to leave the level. I was the first to implement this into runs. This fling got the name YOLO Fling because it was very risky to go for. I gambled my run on this trick and managed to get a world record with it. After that, the name stuck. Soon after this run, a faster version was found. We can fling up the narrow channel right after the door. This version is even harder because the area above us has lots of things to block the path. It's almost a straight vertical fling. It's the hardest fling in the game. The new double fling route meant we could now complete Arcadia in just 1 minute 20 seconds. For almost 4 years, Arcadia was unchanged. The double fling route really was the best way to do the level. We dropped the best time by another second to a 1:19, but it felt like Arcadia was at its limit. Flings have reigned as the #1 glitch in Bioshock for the past 7 years, but the fling era is about to come to an end.
Once it's dead, you can't get back onto it.
What you just saw was the first ever wall clip done in Bioshock. Welcome to the era of wall clips. To set up a wall clip, you need to walk onto a splicer's head from something the same height as the splicer. If you kill the splicer, you stay on top of its dead body. The telekinesis plasmid can be used to move the body and fly through the air. This is called a splicer surf. While surfing, you have no collision with walls and doors. As you can imagine, adding wall clips into a game completely blew open the speedrun. Pandora's box just got opened. Overnight, the run was unrecognizable. Creativity and innovation were needed to figure out the new best way to play. The route changed every few months as runners experimented with different combinations of plasmids. They were called the plasmid routes. And where's the wall clip on Arcadia? There isn't one. The door to leave the level was already open. The rest of the game was completely reimagined, but Arcadia was stuck doing the double fling route. But no level completely escaped from wall clip's influence. Due to less overall walking in the run, there's now no need to take pictures and get Sports Boost 1. In this period, Arcadia was used as the level to swap out or acquire new plasmids. In the Arcadia Glens, there's 3 important resources. There's a little sister, a gatherer's garden machine, and a gene bank machine, all along the route. As runners cycled through different plasmid routes, there were minor changes to Arcadia. They're not too impactful, so I'll just go over them quickly. In the Winterblast route, we killed the Big Daddy and rescued the sister. This gave enough Atom to buy the target dummy plasmid. We exit Arcadia with 3 plasmids: Telekinesis, Winterblast, and Target Dummy. Next, in the Target Dummy route, we ignore the little sister. Instead, we use the Gene Bank machine to swap out our plasmids, exiting the level with Telekinesis and Target Dummy. For the Incinerate route, Arcadia actually reverted to what it was before wall clips, the old double fling route. We can walk right through the Arcadia Glens without changing plasmids, exiting with Telekinesis and Incinerate. And finally, a year after wall clips were discovered, the dust finally settled with the Electrobolt route, with Arcadia remaining unchanged from the previous route. In 2023, everything would change for Arcadia. At this point, the history of Arcadia splits into 3 branches, 2 for any percent, and a third for the IL. IL stands for individual level. It's a speedrun of a single level, not the entire game. You can do crazy tricks in ILs because you don't need to worry about failing and resetting the run. On Arcadia, we'll replace both flings on the level with a long surf. Surfing is faster than walking, so it might save some time. The first splicer on the level spawns in the tea garden on the bridge. I walk through the right side and the bridge, and then I jump onto this pipe. I can walk onto her head and kill the splicer to begin the surf. I'm immediately met with the main reset point, the RNG invisible wall. There's an invisible wall here that knocks you off the body. Less than 10% of runs make it past. If you get lucky, you can start the difficult surfing, and hopefully not immediately fail on the first turn. Arcadia Glens is filled with narrow hallways and tight turns. Hitting the walls, signs, or this stupid bag of chips will knock you off the body, ending the run.
What? Oh, the chips, bro.
If you make it through the glens, you can begin the hardest part of the level, the rolling hills. Touching the trees or wood beams will knock you off the body. Go down the stairs and take a tight turn and stay low to avoid the tree. Then, look up and throw the body at the door. We can't avoid hitting the trigger, so we have one attempt to make an accurate throw at the door before it closes. If you can manage all that, you need to stay low under the signs in the last room, and make one final precise throw to the bathysphere. And I didn't mention the hardest part of ILs. Normally, runners in Bioshock use saves to retry hard tricks, but saving is banned in ILs, so you have to do all of this with a single life. No saves, no redos. One mistake means restarting from the beginning. You need to balance speed with precision during this surf. Go too fast and you get knocked off. Too slow and you won't save time. And oh boy, can the IL surf route save time. I completed Arcadia in just 1 minute, 2 seconds, dangerously close to the 1 minute barrier. The IL surf route is too difficult and RNG heavy to do in any percent, so most runners continued to do the double fling route, YOLO fling at the start, and the main Arcadia fling at the end to skip the trigger. Some runners panicked when this IL run was done. Others saw the potential of the surf, but needed to modify it to make it any percent viable. To avoid the RNG invisible wall, they started the surf later in the Arcadia Glens. A few different setup spots were tried, but the best was this single large square piece of wood. We can push the pallet over, then jump on it, and walk onto the splicer's head. Then, surf to the end from here. The setup was found by Reeve, the pallet king. The level started with YOLO Fling in the Tea Garden, then the pallet setup in the Arcadia Glens, and surfing through the rolling hills to end the level. So the route's kinda like a hybrid between the other two. Start with the fling, but end with the surf. Reeve, who found the pallet setup, would also set the fastest time. This run should give you a better idea of how difficult surfing is. Reeve was the best at Arcadia, and you can still see he's slowing down and having to reload multiple times. He finished the level in 1 minute 12 seconds. It was the fastest the level had been done in any percent. This hybrid route was hard, but we could see the massive potential of the route. Soon after this 112 was done with the hybrid route, Prisoner raised the bar with the double fling route. With nothing new on the level, he dropped the time to a 1:15. This run was super clean. It's right at the limit of what's possible. On YOLO Fling, he cancels the fling at the perfect time. 0 time wasted going higher than needed. He has good movement, cutting corners and taking the shortest path. And the second fling is well done too. A really solid level. Runners now had to choose between the consistent but slower double fling route or the harder hybrid route with huge potential for more time save. Reeve and Prisoner were the top 2 runners at this time, and they were having an intense world record battle, each using their own Arcadia route. But while this battle was raging in any percent, IL runners had their sight on a different target. The 1 minute barrier. The current IL time was 1:02. It's only 2 seconds away, but it wasn't going to be easy. To save extra time, we added in YOLO Fling, but we had to set up the surf with a different splicer, which was slower. We placed the box from YOLO Fling down in this spot, then gently tap the splicer to get his attention. Gently shoot the splicer to get his attention. Then use the box to fling up to the pipe. This second fling is really difficult and adds more RNG. And remember, YOLO Fling still isn't easy to do. If you can manage both of these flings, you still need to deal with the RNG invisible wall that kills 90% of runs, and all the incredible hard surfing. Misplacing a single throw will knock you off the body, and remember, saving is not allowed during ILs. The route is incredibly difficult, but IL runners don't play for consistency. They play for that one perfect run, where all the stars align. And man, when it happens, it's a thing of beauty. "58 seconds. Arcadia broke the minute barrier." 2023 was a busy year for Arcadia. It saw the emergence of 3 different routes, each with merits and different reasons to do them. 1:15 for the double fling route, 1:12 for the hybrid route, and 58 seconds for the IL route. Let's return to the double fling route in any percent. As the years went on, nothing new was found for this. Now today, in 2026, Prisoner's 1:15 is still the fastest this route has ever been done. The double fling route is still done today by many runners, and even a few in the top 5. It's consistent and not that hard. On the other hand, the huge potential of the hybrid any percent route was being realized. As runners' skill level and familiarity with surfing increased over time, Arcadia got faster. Without any route changes, the hybrid route eventually reached 1 minute 3 seconds, again by Reeve. All the time save comes from faster surfing. You can see the gameplay is much better now. No fails and smoother surfing overall. That's the result of years of practice. And Reeves 103 is where the hybrid route sits today in 2026. For most runners, the consistent double fling route is serviceable. But if you want a world record, you need to do the harder hybrid route. This is the current state of any percent on the level Arcadia. But recently, in 2026, there was an improvement to the IL strat. And it uses an obscure trick that's been known for many years, but never used in a speedrun. It's called an electrobolt fling. Like the name suggests, it's similar to a fling. You stand on an item and jump, but instead of telekinesis, you use electrobolt on the item. This gives you a boost up. For the IL setup, when we move the splicer to the pipe, we walk past this box and electric lock. You can fling here, but flings are pretty powerful, so it's really inconsistent. But if we use an electrobolt fling, it gives us the perfect height. This accomplishes two things. First, it's closer, so it's faster to set up. And second, we can take this path down to get to the Arcadia Glens, avoiding the RNG invisible wall. This new path is quite narrow and hard to get through while surfing, but it's a huge benefit. The RNG invisible wall killed 90% of runs. Upon entering the glens, the rest is the same. Surfing narrow hallways and avoiding trees and bags of chips, all without saves. And in April 2026, Arcadia was done in 53 seconds with the new IL surf route. And that's where the IL record sits today, the fastest the level has ever been done. Looking back at the start of this story, it's incredible how far we've come. From stacking bags of manure for minutes at a time, to flying through the air at breakneck speeds. But the story of Arcadia isn't done yet. There's more history that has yet to be written. Can anyone squeeze out another second from the double fling route? Can the hybrid route break the 1 minute barrier? Will some new crazy trick be used on the IL? What's the true limit on Arcadia? Only time will tell. A big thank you to Blood Thunder for helping me piece together the early days of the speedrun. This is the third documentary-style video I made for Bioshock. If you liked this one, I think you'll like these two as well. Thanks for watching.